On page 411 and 412, we are going to learn another way to graph. So usually we have the slope and the y-intercept, so we graph the y-intercept first and then we count the slope. Sometimes it's easier to use the x-intercept and the y-intercept, so we call it graphing by intercepts. So the point where the line intersects or crosses the x-axis is called the x-intercept. So that would be down here. That's where it crosses the x-axis. So when we identify or say what the intercepts are, we always write them as an ordered pair. So the x-intercept is the ordered pair 8, 0. The y-intercept then, like we've used before, is where it crosses the y-axis. So right up here. So the y-intercept is 0, 8. So when we do our x and y intercept, we write them as ordered pairs. So you will notice in the x-intercept, the y is 0. So plug 0 in for y and solve for x. Okay. Again, the ordered pair for the x-intercept is always going to have a 0 for y. So the way that you find it in an equation is you plug 0 in for the y and then solve for the x. So then the other way for the y-intercept then is to plug 0 in for x. And solve for y. So it's kind of opposite. When you want the y-intercept, you need to put the 0 in for x. So for the x-intercept, again, that means you plug 0 in for y. So 0 equals 3x plus 6. You can't have a y left in your equation when you are trying to find the x-intercept. So to solve that, I would subtract 6. Some of you hopefully can just look at that and know 3x equals negative 6. So I divide and get x equals negative 2. So my x-intercept is the ordered pair negative 2, 0. Then I do the same thing for the y-intercept. This time we're going to plug the 0 in for x, so this one was much easier. 3 times 0 plus 6. Your y is just 6. So the ordered pair of the y-intercept is 0 for x, because that's what we plugged in, and 6 for the y. So that's what you will do each time. For the x-intercept, you put the 0 in for y and then solve for x. For the y-intercept, it's just backwards. Plug the 0 in for x and solve for y. So x-intercept, we do 0 equals negative x plus 5. So I'm actually going to add x and get x equals 5. So the x-intercept for this equation would be 5, 0. As an ordered pair, so you put the parentheses around it. The y-intercept would be y equals negative 0 technically plus 5, so just 5. Again, you really shouldn't have to plug that in because it's already in slope-intercept form, so you should know it's 0, or so you should know it's 5. So 0, 5 is the point for the y-intercept. Number 2, we would do 0 equals 1/2 x minus 8. So then we add 8 to both sides. Notice I'm flipping it around. 1/2 x equals 8. To get rid of your fraction, remember you multiply it by the reciprocal, so that's 2. So x equals 16. So our ordered pair would be 16, 0. Again, hopefully you can just look at the equation for the y-intercept. If you want to show that you're plugging it in, 1/2 times 0 is 0, minus 8 is -8. So 0, -8 would be your answer there. And finally, number 3, 0 equals -4/3 x plus 2. So this time I'm going to add 4/3 x, so I don't have the fraction, or the negative. 4/3 x equals 2. Again, you multiply by the reciprocal, so times 3/4. So this one, when you multiply, you're going to get an improper fraction. So we would have 3/2. So our ordered pair is 3/2, 0. For the y-intercept, again, maybe you can just look and see. Otherwise, -4/3 times 0 plus 2 gives us just 2. So 0, 2 would be your ordered pair for those.